It's the 12th of May, Rabbi Levitt, Daniel.
All right. All right. So we just Mayor just read and translated Pasuk Chaf Daled, and now we're ready to do the notes on the Pasuk.
Yeah, we're also discussing all the vowels that are used in the text here. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I noticed that. A lot of verbs.
Yeah. Morning, Roy.
Good morning. Morning.
Morning, Roy.
Good morning.
So we're in chapter 11 at Pasuk 24. And he says it's V'asa asher lo asu avotav, and he will do what his fathers did not do. Since Alexander, no one had been able to penetrate the fortifications at the border separating Egypt from Asia.
Separating Egypt from Asia.
Yeah, so that's the Sinai, isn't it, though?
I think they're considering the Middle East to be Asia.
Oh, is that what it is? It could be. Because I think Turkey's called Asia Minor, right? Or maybe the whole Mediterranean, that whole Mediterranean
at the border separating Egypt from Asia. In other words, I guess what the note means, it's a little bit missing in its explanation, I think. Could have used a few more words, but first of all, who are we talking about? They didn't tell us yet. Probably we're talking about Antiochus, who we've been talking about in the last couple verses about things that he's going to be doing over here in Egypt. And so where is he coming from? He's coming from Antiochus, Antiochia, whatever the name of the city is, and his name is Antiochus. So it's I think it's in that area which is shaykh to Asia. So in order for him to get into Egypt, he's going to have to figure out some way to get past these fortifications that Egypt put that protect her from anybody who's invading from the other side, which is Asia. So that's what it means over here, that since Alexander, he was able to get through, but nobody else since him was able to do that. So that's what we're saying about this Antiochus. He's going to now do what hasn't been done for many, many years. Okay. Oh, so what's he going to do? He's going to come in and he's going to. We'll read further.
Yes.
Shalal.
Booty spoils. That's right. I guess from Rashi in Midbar 31:11 differentiates between bizah, baz, and shalal. Shalal refers specifically to clothing and jewelry plundered in war, whereas bizah includes other looted movables. Okay, a similar definition is given by Vilna Gaon. Shalal is the valuable booty taken initially. Bazah refers to the things taken in the second wave of looting, when in the absence of real valuables, things of secondary or negligible value are also taken. From bizayon. Oh, shame. Well, that's interesting. Okay. And then let's see. Lahem Yivzor. Among his allies, he will distribute. He will give lavish bribes to those who cooperate with him. That's Rashi. And let's see, Josephus reports that Antiochus's extravagance depleted his treasury. Guess he was his own worst enemy. Okay, next phrase, V'al mitzarim Yechashev machshvotav, and he will devise his plans against their fortresses. All this time, under the guise of the infant Ptolemy's protector, Antiochus the fourth was in reality scheming to conquer Egypt's fortresses. No source on that one. Okay, and the odd 8 until the time. Antiochus did not think this time opportune for the ultimate attack. He waited for the time most propitious for his plan. Barbanel and Malbim, holding to their own interpretation that verses 22 to 25 refer to Antiochus's actions in Egypt during Cleopatra's regency, interpret the odd 8 until the time to mean that Antiochus, feeling that the time was not yet ripe, returned to Syria. Verse 25 refers to his attack on Egypt after Cleopatra's death.
Okay. Yeah, so if you remember what we said in the previous psukim 22 and 23, the pasuk said that Antiochus is making alliances and he's acting with deceit because he's coming in, so to speak, on the pretext of visiting his sister. His sister is Cleopatra,
Right.
And so therefore he's able to gain entry to the country like that, and he didn't have to force his way in.
Right.
So he's not a big friend of that nation, really, as we're going to see. This is what we see in this pasuk, that he used that connection that he had, and to despoil the treasures of Egypt and distribute amongst his allies that he got to go with him to. So that's what his designs are over here, and then he has bigger designs, like it says in the pasuk. He's going to wait for the right time before he can make the final takeover and conquer. Okay, so hey, go to Lou to continue the reading.
Hey, turn the page here. Hey. V'ya'er kocho ulevavo al melech hanegev b'chayil gadol umelech hanegev yisgareh l'milchama b'chayil gadol va'atzum ad ma'od v'lo ya'amod ki yachshavu alav machashavos. Okay, 25. He will stir up his strength and his heart against the king of the south with a great army. The king of the south will confront him in war with an exceedingly great and powerful army, but he will not withstand, for they will devise plans against him. Let's see, he will stir up his strength. Antiochus returned to Egypt a second time after the death of Queen Regent Cleopatra. The people of Alexandria resisted Antiochus IV, rejecting his pretense of protecting the Egyptian crown and crowning Ptolemy VII Euergetes king. Antiochus then marched in with a Syrian army and besieged Alexandria. Against the king of the south, Ptolemy IV Philometor, or Ptolemy the seventh Euergetes, whom the Alexandrians had acknowledged as king. For they will devise plans against him. Ptolemy the sixth was betrayed by his own generals, whom Antiochus bribed. According to the line followed above, this phrase, starting from Velo Yamod, but he will not withstand, to verse 27, is a parenthetical remark foretelling the eventual defeat of the Alexandrians at the hands of Antiochus. This did not take place until Antiochus had returned to Syria, as told in verses 28 and 29. The Alexandrian resistance was doomed when the governor of Cyprus, which belonged to Egypt, defected to Antiochus. According to Rashi, verses 25 to 27 refer to a Roman campaign against Egypt during the days of the Hashmonean king Hyrcanos.
Wow.
Oh, so that wouldn't be referred. Okay. Yeah, they're not really going too much with the Rashi. They just give him a few lines at the end of every note. He's taking a different approach in who's the subject of these psukim. The Art Scroll is going with the approach that we're talking about Antiochus here. We're not talking about Rome. Okay. Okay. 26. Roy, would you like to read?
Okay, 26. It's Kuf Vav. V'ochalei pas b'goy yishberu ruhu v'helo yishtof v'noferu chalalim rabim. 26. And those who eat his food will break him, and his army will inundate, and many will fall.
Okay, so the notes that we have over here, yeah, okay. Okli Paspa Go, Ishbaruhu. Those who eat of his food will break him. So more treachery and betrayal we see is a very prominent part of the doings over here. This is a further elaboration of what was hinted at the end of the previous verse, verse 25. The subordinates of the Egyptian king betrayed their master and caused his defeat. So that's what it means when the ones that eat from his bread, they will break him, meaning the servants of the Egyptian king will betray him, because I guess they're getting bribed by Antiochus.
Mhm.
Halo Yishtof. Halo is referring to his army. Yishtof, like Shtifa Sakelim, like they'll be washed away, swept away. The Egyptian army will be so overwhelmed by overpowering numbers that they will be swept away as in a flood. Yeah, the lashon of Yishtof is quite powerful. And we're referring to he is Antiochus. He will sweep away his. Who's his? The Egyptian monarch's army. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Pasuk Zion, back to Mayor.
Okay, let's see. Kaf Zayin. Ushnehem amalachim levavam lemeira v'al shulchan echad kazav yidaberu v'lo titzlach ki od kate lemoed. As for the two kings, their hearts will be to do harm. At one table they conspire deceitfully, but it will not succeed, for there is yet an end for the appointed time. Boy. Okay, so Ushnehem Amalachim. As for the two kings, Antiochus had the good fortune to capture Ptolemy VI, the heir to the throne, alive. He now assumed the guise of a protective uncle who had just come to protect the interest of his underage nephew. The Alexandrians had meanwhile crowned the younger brother Ptolemy the seventh. Antiochus besieged them all the time, maintaining that if the Alexandrians would recognize the older Ptolemy as king, he would withdraw. Okay. Levavam lemeira. Their hearts will be to do harm to each other. Antiochus's probable aim was to provide a civil war between the two brothers so that in the absence of a strong central government, he might gain control of the country. Ptolemy VI, in spite of his youth, seems to have understood Antiochus's devious intentions, and though he ostensibly cooperated with his uncle, he intended to do him harm. The narrative here returns to the point where Antiochus, in league with the elder Ptolemy, besieged Alexandria. Velo titzlach, but it will not succeed. The plan. Antiochus's scheme did not succeed. As soon as he turned his back to return home, the two Ptolemy brothers joined forces against their uncle. Ki od kates lemoed, for there is yet an end for the appointed time. The end was coming to the time allotted for Antiochus's kingship. An alternative interpretation, moed, the appointed season, refers to the time allotted to the hegemony of the Greeks over Eretz Israel. The domination of the third kingdom was coming to an end. Antiochus Epiphanes' reign signaled the beginning of the end of the Greek rule. According to Rashi, the two kings are Hyrcanus and Pompeius. Hyrcanus was the Hasmonean king who, in his struggle with his brother Aristobulus, asked the help of the Romans. Pompeius was the Roman general who represented the Roman Republic in this alliance. He is called king here in spite of his being only a general, because he represented the mighty Roman Empire. The hearts of both will be set to do harm to the Jewish nation, but their designs will fail, for there is yet an end for the allocated time. The 62 weeks of years allotted to the temple had not yet come to an end.
What's the 62 weeks of years? I don't understand. I was trying to work it out before.
62 weeks of years. I guess that's what they were referring to in 925. Let's take a look over there.
925. Let's see.
Mm.
25. That's
Seven metacycle.
Awesome. 25 starts with the first line, the top line of page 110.
okay.
Yeah, no one comprehend from the emergence of the word to return and to build Jerusalem until the appointment of the prince will be 7 weeks, and for 62 weeks it will be rebuilt, street and moat, but in troubled times. Then after 62 weeks, the anointed one will be cut off and will exist no longer, and the people of the prince will come, will destroy the city and the sanctuary, but his end will be to be swept away as in a flood.
26.
What does it say in the Lashon HaKodesh? Shvu'ayim Shiva Ushvu'ayim Shishim Ushnayim. Shvu'im Shishim Ushnayim. What does that refer to? Yeah, the note on the bottom of 110 says the angel is telling Daniel that the restoration and rebuilding of Yerushalayim will take place only 7 weeks of years, which means 49 years. after the beginning of the 70-week period mentioned in verse 24. Okay, so all of this business about the weeks and the years and everything, but however long it was, what we're saying is that Hashem had already decreed what was going to be in terms of how long Antiochus was going to hold reign over here in Greece, and when and how it's going to work out with the how long the Beis Hamikdash is going to survive. So it looks in the psukim like all these kings, they're the ones that are in power. They are the ones that have all the control. They're the ones that can do whatever they want, and the whole world is cowering from them because they have all the power, and it's all about military power and strength and deviousness and blah 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 and betrayal and more blah blah blah. But really, this is all a smoke screen. This is not what. This is not the way. This is not the reason that things happen the way they happen. They happen because of a divine decree. And as long as the allotted time that they have, so then Hashem says, he's the one that's operating them. They're sort of like on remote control. And when the remote control stops, Hashem stops the remote control with a decree. So then that's the end of that. That's how it works. So that's what we have. That's what the note is talking about. So in other words, the hearts of both of these ones was to do harm to the Jewish nation, but their designs will fail. Why will their designs fail? So the note is saying because the Nevuah still gave 62 weeks of years that was allotted to the temple. It didn't come to an end yet, so they weren't able to do anything to the temple. It wasn't because of their lack of military savvy or their cunningness or the alliance broke up or whatever it was. Those are all that's all on the side. It's all superfluous. It's all surface. The reason why they weren't able to do so is because the 62 weeks of years allotted to the temple did not yet come to an end. When it comes to an end, so then that's when the Romans will invade the Yerushalayim and destroy the Beis Hamikdash. Not one moment before that time. Okay.
Hello.
Hi, Joseph.
Hi.
Hi. I'm just managing to leave Givat Shaul now.
Ches, whose turn is it to read now?
Let's see. I think I just finished reading, but Lou is busy.
Roy, you want to do the pasuk? Ches.
Oh, yes. Okay. Yoshov, Artsar, Birakush, Godol, Ulavovo, Al, Baris, Kodesh, Ba'asa, Vashov, Varatsov. And he will return to his land with great possessions, and his heart is on the covenant with the Holy One, and he will succeed and return to his land.
Okay, again, who is the he of this pasuk? So the notes over here says they don't directly answer the question, but they just say during the siege of Alexandria, still talking about that, Antiochus returned to Syria for reasons not clear now. So that's the he of the pasuk. He will return to his land. It's talking about Antiochus, according to the art scroll. What does it mean? Ulavavoy al bris kodesh, and his heart is on the holy covenant, to be in opposition to it. So they explain that it's referring to the Jewish nation. That's because they're the ones that have the bris kodesh with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Before Antiochus's campaign against Egypt, there had been turmoil in Jerusalem concerning the office of the Kohen Gadol. And Josephus tells us that when this one, his name used to be Hanyo, and then he took a Greek name. When he passed away, because the Kohanim Gedolim in that time were not the greatest tzaddikim in the history of Klal Yisrael. So we see that really the scourge of what the Greeks had caused, even though there was a I think we're talking here. Oh, I'm not actually sure. Is this talking before the episode of Hanukkah, or is it talking after the episode of Hanukkah? It's not 100% clear. So in any case, so when this one died, his son was too young. He didn't succeed him. So then Yeshua, the brother of this one, I don't want to mention his name because I don't like to mention the names of people that went off and joined the Greeks. But anyway, he changed his name also. Used to be Yeshua, and he changed it to a different name, a Greek name. So he was appointed. So here we have it seems like we have the Kohanim are really basically Misyavnim, we call them, Hellenized Jews, who are Jews by birth and will always be Jews because a Jew is always a Jew, but not acting like Jews. The king, because of his anger against him, appointed his younger brother, who then changed his name to some other Greek name. Okay, so that's what Josephus is reporting over there, all about the doings of the Kohanim Gedolim in that time. Other sources are more explicit about this. Yeshua offered Antiochus an exorbitant bribe to appoint him as the high priest. Yeah, so it seems as though this is really during the time when
Okay.
Antiochus was the one that was running things in the Beis Hamikdash.
Huh.
And so he wanted to be the priest, this guy, and he gave money to Antiochus, and I guess Antiochus is able to dictate who's going to be the Kohen Gadol. So here you have it. You have that's the situation that you have in the Beis Hamikdash at this point. The Beis Hamikdash is still standing, but it's not exactly being run according to the Gedolei Yisrael. So after having served in this point for some time, he promised the king an even greater sum and was promptly given the post. Both of these nominees promised the king their utmost cooperation to enforce the king's project of Hellenizing the country by forcibly spreading Greek culture. Right? That's the greatness of the Greek culture. If they can't get the Jews to willingly accord with it and become Hellenized people, so they'll force them to do it. That's the great civilization of Greece. While Antiochus was in Egypt waging war, a rumor spread that the king had died. So the high priest had been removed by Antiochus at that point. He seized the opportunity to return from his exile and raise an army and lay siege to Yerushalayim. And Antiochus, he came back and he verschmettered them with a great deal of bloodshed. So again, so they're going with what's going on over here. These psukim are talking about the time of the Greeks and Antiochus. And now they bring 4 lines that Rashi learns differently. He says, no, this is not talking about that time. It's talking later. It's talking in time, it's referring to the Romans. And so what does Bris Kodesh refer to? It refers to the pact they had made with the Hashmonoim. Because after the Greeks went by the wayside, so then the world power, the Malchus, was with Rome, was with Edom. That's the last exile that we still are under. So therefore, thus his heart will be against the holy covenant. They did not intend to keep the pact for too long. Right. Okay. That's
Thank
right.
you, Rabbi.
Okay. Oh, we're out of time. Okay. All the best.
Okay. Have a good day, everyone. Okay. Bye now.